guys, welcome back to Goodbye Grains. Today we are making buffalo chicken dip, and now this is the first week of probably 4 straight weeks or so of like finger food, appetizer, like game food. I figured with Super Bowl quickly approaching and it's like football playoffs, this is perfect as kind of a way to be able to bring something to a potluck for a game, or if you're hosting it at your house, you know that there's something there that you can eat. Now this is probably not food that you want to be eating every single day, but this is kind of a nice treat, a nice snack, and kind of something so that you are also participating in the big food off of February. So we have chicken. Now this is pre-cooked chicken. You definitely want to use pre-cooked chicken for this, because for the dip you can actually serve this cold, or you can pop it in the oven and serve it hot. So it's kind of up to you which you want to do. So this is some chicken. We have the most important ingredient, which is some hot sauce. Now you can buy your favorite kind. This is just Frank's hot sauce, and it doesn't have any like sugar or anything like that added into it. It does have distilled white vinegar. I'm guessing that most hot sauces probably have vinegar in them, but if you're staying away from vinegar, you may want to try and find a different type of hot sauce that you can use for this. We have a red bell pepper. Now we're going to dice this pretty finely, along with some green onions that we're also going to dice pretty finely. We have some kosher salt, and this is a small container. I actually made my roasted garlic aioli. I made a double batch of it, I don't know, 3 or 4 days ago maybe, and stored the rest in a container knowing that I was going to make this dip. So I will link that video down below. It was probably about, I don't know, 6 months ago or something. I made a wasabi ketchup and then a roasted garlic aioli, and so that is what this is. So now that we have all of our ingredients, we can start chopping up the vegetables. Okay, so now that we have our red bell pepper and our green onions all chopped up, we can actually just assemble the dip itself. So what I'm going to do, I'm going to take the aioli first and add it to the chicken. And you can also buy like pre-made mayonnaise, or some other type of aioli that you get in the store, or maybe your own favorite type of aioli that you make. You can also use that as a substitute for this. And then we're going to add in our hot sauce. If you don't want this to be super zippy, you could always cut back on the hot sauce. And then we'll add a little bit of our kosher salt. And then you can either use a spoon, or one other thing that I actually sometimes use, I use a one of the egg beaters and just use this. It's not obviously as finely, I don't even know what you would call that, not as finely woven together as like a whisk, but it's still going to allow you to break up the chicken a little bit. So you can certainly use a spoon, or you can use this. I usually trade off between the two, but I'll start with the spoon first. It definitely just makes it a lot easier, and you don't want to have giant chunks of chicken. You want the chicken to kind of be evenly spread throughout. And then once it's almost all combined, you can add in your bell pepper and your green onions. And you're just gonna dump that onto the top. One of my favorite parts about this dip too is just it's really colorful with the bright red and the green, especially if you're kind of sad after the holidays are over and you don't have the festive colors anymore. You can make this dip. So now that we have all that in there, you can kind of carefully mix this together without getting it everywhere. I'm gonna switch over to this. Okay, and then once this is all well mixed, you can pour it into a casserole dish or a serving dish. It depends whether or not you want to bake this in the oven for about 20 minutes until it's nice and hot. If you are going to do that, make sure whatever dish you put into it, or put the dip into, is heat safe, like oven safe, microwave safe, however you end up wanting to cook this. If you're just going to serve this straight cold out of the fridge, then you can just place this into a serving dish. So at this point, you can either pop it into the fridge or pop it right into the oven. One other thing, if you do eat like grass-fed cheese or some other type of dairy, even just regular cheese, if you do choose to eat that, that would also taste great in one of these dips. Sometimes my husband does eat like grass-fed white cheddar that we go and buy, and so sometimes I'll just put a small amount of this into like a ramekin for him and mix it together with cheese and stuff, and that's usually the way that he likes to eat this. So as you can see, this dip comes together really, really quickly. Once you have all your ingredients ready, you really just need to mix it together and put it into a dish. So this is perfect to slice up like some cucumbers to dip into it. You can also use sweet potato chips. That's what my husband likes to use, but those are obviously not 100% paleo. So if you want to use cucumber or, extra bell pepper or, some other type of dipping thing like some paleo crackers that you make, all of those would go perfect with this. So I'll see you guys next week. Bye.